Hello everyone, I'm Etha Cannistra. Thank you so much for visiting my YouTube channel today. And thank you so much for those of you listening to the show on WZBT Gettysburg. And thank you so much for making me part of your day. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's move on to the first topic of the day because we have a pretty packed show for today. The first topic of the day is the new Elseworlds trailer that have dropped. Now, for those of you who don't know, Elseworlds is this year's CW crossover. This crossover involves Green Arrow, The Flash, and Supergirl. This crossover this year will not be including Legends of Tomorrow. And there were two teaser trailers released. So over the past few weeks, we've been seeing Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin posting different pictures. Most notably, Grant Gustin posting pictures of himself in the Green Arrow costume, and that's strange because obviously he plays the Flash on the Flash TV show. And then, Stephen Amell, who plays Oliver Queen in the Green Arrow on the TV show Arrow in the Flash costume. So this got a lot of fans wondering, what was this going to be like in this crossover? What kind of storyline is it going to be? Is this just from an alternate Earth, and Barry and Oliver just happen to travel there and see this? These two trailers give us a little bit of insight. So we do see that this is clearly the Oliver and Barry that we know. This is not some alternate version of them. This is not on another Earth. This is on Earth 1. However, there are some changes that are clearly happening to these characters, one of which they almost seem to have swapped bodies. So in the first trailer that was released, we see Oliver waking up in Barry's apartment and Iris making him breakfast, and then Iris calls him Barry Allen. Oliver's sort of like, what the heck is going on here? And then the second trailer shows Barry Allen. Grant Gustin is fighting John Diggle. John Diggle is a character on Arrow. He's sort of fighting, and he seems really confused, and then he sort of does this move and kind of takes Diggle down, and he just calls himself the Green Arrow. He just seems very confused. So what this tells me is, like I said before, these are clearly the characters that we all know. This is Barry and Oliver, Earth 1. However, they have traded bodies now, somehow, in some way. Or they haven't really traded bodies, they sort of traded lives. And I'll be honest, I really do like this, because when I saw these pictures coming out, I got really concerned, like, wait, is this just going to be another alternate Earth that Barry and Oliver happen to travel to during this crossover? And no, this is going to be the Oliver and Barry that we know. They clearly don't know what's going on. Oliver clearly still knows that he should be the Green Arrow, so why is he waking up with Iris? And Barry knows that he's the Flash, and they both clearly see that there's something wrong here, which I do really like. However, this does raise some more questions. What exactly is going on here? Why are Barry and Oliver now living their separate lives? Why is Barry now living Oliver's life, and why is Oliver now living Barry's life? My theory is that there's a character that they seem to be introducing in this crossover, and this is kind of pure speculation on my part, but this character has been confirmed to appear by Entertainment Weekly, and it's called the Monitor. So my theory is the Monitor does something to mess around with Barry and Oliver's lives somehow, maybe to teach them a lesson of some sort or to complete his plan. I honestly have no idea. So the two main questions are, why are they living their own separate lives? Why have they traded lives, and why has this happened? So I think that's kind of interesting. Another question I have is, we've seen a couple of other pictures released that I'll talk about quickly. We've seen John Wesley Shipp as the Flash, and I know that we've seen John Wesley Shipp as the Flash, but this is a very different Flash because it is the Flash from the 90s TV show. Now, for those of you who don't know, John Wesley Shipp was the Flash in the 90s incarnation of the TV show. There's a live-action show. It had Mark Hamill as the Trickster and all that stuff. It only lasted one season. And then now we've seen him come back to the current Flash show playing Jay Garrick and all that kind of stuff. So the question I have, why is he dressed in his 90s Flash costume? Is this going to be like an alternate version of Barry Allen? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And then the other question I have is the suit that Superman is wearing in this crossover is very interesting. The suit is black. Now, the suit being black could literally mean absolutely nothing. I genuinely have no idea. But could they be going with the Death of Superman storyline? Absolutely. Do they travel to another Earth where they find this Superman wearing the black suit? Absolutely. Or is it just Superman happens to have a wardrobe change in this movie, which is probably the most likely scenario, and that is absolutely the case. And then I'm really curious to see what role Supergirl plays in this, because we know Supergirl's in it. We've seen the set pictures. Stephen Amell's come out and said that this is a crossover with Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. So we know Supergirl's going to have a very heavy presence in it, but her part's sort of been hidden, almost. We know roughly what the storyline is with Barry and Oliver this season, but we really don't know what the storyline with Supergirl is going to be. Like I said, we saw some of the stuff with Superman with him wearing the black suit. There's a couple of other set pictures released that with Supergirl in them, but I really can't figure out what's going on in there. So we'll just have to wait and see. Overall, I am really excited for this crossover. I think it's going to be the best one yet. I haven't been this excited for a crossover, I think, ever. Crisis on Earth X was awesome last year. And I'm just looking forward to hopefully seeing them being able to top it this season. All right, now with all that out of the way, let's move on to the next topic of the day. And that is that Toy Story has actually released its first teaser trailer for Toy Story 4. Now, for those of you who didn't see last week's show, last week I talked about that Tom Hanks kind of released a statement on Twitter saying that he could barely film the final scene of Toy Story 4 because it was just so emotional for him. And he had to turn away from the crew members because he didn't want to look at them as he was doing the scene. More or less saying that they're going to make cinematic history. Now, this trailer that I'm going to talk about is not by any means a trailer. It is an announcement trailer. There is literally no real footage released for Toy Story 4 in this trailer. It's sort of just a, hey, this movie's coming. Here's an announcement trailer for it. Get excited. So if I had to guess, we'll probably get our first official real trailer for it relatively soon. I would have to guess around January we'll get our first full-blown trailer. Or maybe even December with Mary Poppins. I honestly don't know. But let me talk about this announcement trailer, because I honestly have very mixed feelings about it. I am very excited for Toy Story 4, and nothing is going to change that. Not a bad trailer, not a bad poster, not a bad synopsis. Nothing like that is going to take away my excitement for it. Because when you have one of the best actors working today, and Tom Hanks, pretty much coming out and saying, yeah, I could barely film this scene because it's just so emotional, I'm going to be excited for the movie, without a doubt. I mean, you'd be dumb not to be. You have to take that pretty seriously when Tom Hanks comes out saying, I almost cried filming this scene. It's going to be a powerful ending. And then this teaser trailer comes out. And the reason I have mixed feelings on it is because of this one character in particular named Forky. Now, they also released a synopsis for Toy Story 4, which pretty much just says that Forky is a fork, or a disposable spork, that this girl makes out of pipe cleaners and all that kind of stuff, and he sort of comes to life and becomes a toy. The character looks really stupid, the design of him. I'll be honest. Look, I am insanely excited for Toy Story 4. I've tried to make that really clear, but that doesn't change the fact that I think this character is Forky. It looks dumb. You have this character made of pipe cleaners and a disposable spork, and his name is Forky. That doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue very well. He looks kind of annoying, but that's about it. Look, is it a possibility that Forky becomes my new favorite character in Toy Story? Absolutely 100%. That is a definite possibility. Is it definitely possible, though, that Forky becomes one of the worst characters that Toy Story has ever done? Absolutely. I do happen to have faith that Forky will work out in Toy Story 4. Look, if you look at some of the synopsises, or you told someone what Toy Story 3 was going to be about like a gangster teddy bear that wants to kill the toys, that would come off as really dumb. But they executed it so well that everybody loved it, and I think that's a distinct possibility of what they do with Forky. Look, Forky looks dumb. I think most people will agree with that. Yet, at the same time, I almost feel as though Pixar has earned my respect. Pixar has earned my faith. I have faith that Forky will be good. Pixar has generally not let me down, except for Cars 2. Let's forget about that one. But generally, Pixar is very, very good. Especially with their Toy Story franchise. Look, Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, I believe, have 100% Rotten Tomatoes. They're some of the highest reviewed films of all time. I really don't think Pixar is going to drop the ball with this. Yeah, at the same time, I have to be 100% honest. When I saw this trailer, I was like, Forky? Really? It just didn't sit well with me. But, like I said, like I keep saying, it could work out perfectly well in the movie. And then the one thing I will bring up, though, that I really did like that they released is that Pixar has actually, over the last week or so, been releasing some individual character posters for Toy Story 4, and I really like those posters. The one in particular, Woody, it's just a plain background that says Toy Story 4, and then Woody just doing a tip of that hat, like the cowboy thing that he always does. Love that poster. I thought it was great. And then they did a similar thing with Buzz, and they've been doing a bunch of similar things with the other characters in Toy Story and releasing the exact same poster just with different poses and stuff, like plain backdrop, Toy Story 4, and then a picture of the character, which I think is really neat. Um, it doesn't really increase my excitement at all for the movie, but I think it's just a cool marketing thing that Disney and Pixar decided to do. And then I will talk about the rest of the trailer for a second. There really was not a whole lot to talk about. Forky was the big reveal, which I've already made my opinion perfectly clear on. But then it's just sort of like you see the toys. That's really the only intent of it. Is you see Woody, you see Ham, you see Buzz, you see Slinky, you see all those toys, and you hear like literally one line from each of them, which is perfectly fine. Look, it's nothing to write home about. It's not anything special. This trailer's not bad. It's not good. It's literally just an announcement trailer, announcing to the world, hey, this movie's coming out. Get ready, and now we're going to start to market it. You'll probably see a trailer around December, maybe January, and just get excited this movie coming out. And the main reason, like I said before, was Forky. Introduce the world to Forky. Made my opinion clear on that. Think he looks dumb. But Pixar has earned my respect, so I have high expectations, and I think the character will be honestly perfectly fine in Toy Story 4. Alright, now with all that out of the way, let's move on to the next topic of the day, and that is, not that, and now we have Dumbo. So Dumbo is coming out in March, and we have a new trailer for it. I've honestly been a little apprehensive about Dumbo for one main reason. That one main reason is Tim Burton. Look, Tim Burton has made some good movies, but it's no secret that his Disney outings have not been spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. He did Alice in Wonderland, which was not very well received by critics or anyone at all. And now people were a little nervous when they gave him Dumbo. The first trailer came out, it was kind of like what the Toy Story thing was. It was an announcement trailer. This movie's coming out, get ready. But then this full trailer comes out, and I have to be honest, I really dug this trailer for a number of reasons, one of which, it really caught the Disney magic of what Dumbo is. The scene where Dumbo's about to start flying, it captures what Dumbo is as a character. It captures kind of like the Disney magic. And I'm really looking forward to this movie. I can't remember his name, but the main antagonist of the film, he looks like he's really cool. Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton looks like he's going to be fantastic in this film, without a doubt. But Michael Keaton always brings a good performance, so there's really no surprise there. The visual effects for Dumbo look amazing. It looks like they've really captured some heart to it. There's this one shot in the trailer where Dumbo has like some clown makeup and they're taking away Dumbo's mommy. It just looks really sad. And I'm like, that's depressing. And I think that's a really important aspect that you need to catch in Dumbo, is that it is a depressing movie. It does have some heavy elements, but you also need to maintain some of the magical elements of it that make Dumbo so special. I think that Disney and Tim Burton have really caught that. Look, we need to have some heavy elements in this movie, like I just said, Dumbo taking away his mom. But then you see the scene with all the bubbles and the circus and Dumbo about to fly. It looks like we're in for a really special movie, and I'm honestly really excited. And before this trailer came out, I really did not have high expectations. I was like, okay, there's another Dumbo movie coming out. Tim Burton's directing it? Oh no, that's not going to be very good. But you know, I always go into a trailer with an open mind. I always go into a movie with an open mind. And this trailer has made me more excited for Dumbo. I was not excited. Look, if you said, look, there's a trailer for Dumbo coming out next week, and you're going to be really excited, I would have said you're crazy. But I saw this trailer. I can't wait for March. I'm really looking forward to this movie now, and I think it's going to be really, it has the potential to be something really special. So I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, so let's move on to the next topic of the day, and that is that 20th Century Fox, or Fox, has now released a statement, I believe, about what the future of the Fox company will be after Disney buys the company. Look, Disney is more or less guaranteed to get Fox at the end of the day. This deal still needs to go through arbitration. It would probably be another 9 to 12 months until this deal is completely 100% finalized. But this deal is most likely going to go through. So a lot of people have been like really confused about this deal. So it's like, people keep asking, so is Disney buying the entirety of Fox? And the answer to that is 100% no. Disney is buying some of Fox's assets. They are not buying Fox out of 100%. They are buying their film assets. Fox News, Fox Sports, Fox Business, that stuff will all still be there. Disney is not buying that. So a lot of people have been wondering what is Fox going to do after Disney takes away their film division? And apparently, the company is just going to be called Fox. Fox, the individual company, still owns that name Fox. Disney is not taking that. Disney is just taking their film assets. And the thing I wanted to talk about more specifically with this is, what does this mean for the Disney and the film end of things? I think this definitely means that Disney is not going to be allowed to take the name Fox and use it for anything that they want to use it for. They're not going to be able to call a new film division 20th Century Fox. They're not going to be able to call anything Fox Searchlight, because Fox, the actual company, is still going to own that name. I'm starting to develop a prevailing theory now that Disney is going to be scrapping Fox, or at least 20th Century Fox, in their film division for parts. I don't think Disney has any intention of keeping the 20th Century label intact. I think they bought Fox for the properties. They wanted it for their streaming service, which is perfectly reasonable. Disney has every right to do that. But I think they're clearly taking the properties from Fox and stripping them for parts to put them on the streaming service. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not thrilled about this. I don't like that Fox is going to be possibly, I need to keep this point in mind, possibly, there is no guarantee that Fox will be disappearing, 20th Century Fox will be disappearing, and this is what I hope they do. I really want Disney to take this 20th Century label and turn that into a separate thing, almost keep it as a separate division. Don't interfere. Let Fox just do what Fox does. Look, yes, have some oversight. Disney owns them. They have every right to have oversight, but keep in mind, Fox is a good company. Let them run. Let them run their own film division. Let them do some things that Disney probably wouldn't do. And look, I love Disney. But the reality of the situation is they don't necessarily take risks all the time, which is perfectly fine, because I love the MCU, I love Star Wars, I love most of the Disney movies that come out. But let Fox do something different. Let Fox keep running itself. And I really hope Disney does make that decision to allow Fox to not necessarily maintain independent, because Disney will clearly have some oversight, but to let them do what they want to do. And then maybe have, instead of calling it Fox Searchlight, just call it Searchlight and have that branch as a more independent film. Let that be Disney's more independent branch. We know Disney has a couple of them, but let this be another one. Now, if I had to put money on it, I don't think this is going to happen. Sadly. I do think Disney is just going to scrap Fox for parts. You're never going to see that 20th Century logo after the next 3 years or so. But I really do want them to keep this intact, like, for the reason I just said. Maintain some originality. Take some risks. You're not the average consumer probably is not fully aware that 20th Century Fox is being bought by Disney. Keep up that illusion. Just maintain Fox as a separate studio. You don't have to take control of it. You don't have to scrap it for parts. And I feel like that is what Disney is going to do, and I'm honestly kind of bummed about that. But there's really nothing that I can do about it. So let's move on to the next topic of the day. And this is a very sad one for me. And this is that Stan Lee passed away on Monday, and he was 95 years old. So I kind of wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a couple of things. One of which, what Stan Lee meant to me as an individual, and maybe some iconic Stan Lee moments. So I'll be honest, I do not think this show would exist if it were not for Stan Lee. I do not think I would be at Gettysburg College studying cinema media without Stan Lee. And there's one specific reason for that. It is the Avengers. The Avengers is probably one of my most iconic memories of ever going to a movie. I was 12 years old. I remember seeing it in the movie in my little neighborhood town, or my little movie theater that's in my town, right outside of Washington, D.C. It was a little Regal theater, but not very nice. It was in this kind of big-ish city, but not a very nice theater. And we went to have some dinner before, and then we went to go see Avengers. And that was really what sparked my imagination, what sparked this passion for film that I have. Because I remember a year and a half later, I started doing some research about Avengers 2, because I was really looking forward to that movie. And then I came across this small little YouTube channel. Not really that small, you might have heard them. They're called AMC Movie Talk at the time. They're now Collider Movie Talk. I just remember it was these group of guys just talking about movies. I was like, this is really cool. So I started watching them more. I started watching some of their content beyond what Marvel was. Some smaller independent films that they were talking about at the time. And that's kind of what sparked my my passion for film. And then through that passion for film, I kind of developed this passion for superheroes. I started to recognize Stan Lee whenever he popped up in the various Marvel movies. I started to recognize his little anime cameos that he would do in some of the animated TV shows, and I started to really admire the guy. And I was really disappointed to hear that he had passed away on Monday. This is one of the first celebrity deaths, I'll be honest with you, that has really just affected me. It just genuinely made me sad because without him, I really believe I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Stan Lee. He's created some of my all-time favorite fictional characters. We got Iron Man. Iron Man's probably my all-time favorite superhero movie. The Avengers, Spider-Man, Captain America, and no person has such an impact on popular culture as Stan Lee. I really like this quote. I don't remember where I heard it from originally, but Stan Lee pretty much created modern mythology, which I think is a really cool statement because he kind of did. No one created as many characters, affected popular culture, affected the world as much as Stan Lee did. If you go down the street, I guarantee you someone has at least heard of one of Stan Lee's characters, whether it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, the Incredible Hulk. I guarantee you someone has heard those characters, and not very many people could say that about things that they've created. Not very many people in this world have the ability to have such an impact on so many people around the world, and Stan Lee did. And it's not only his characters that he had an impact on. He had an impact on individuals, like, and how they viewed themselves. Stan Lee was one of those people that encouraged people to embrace who they are. There are a lot of people out there who look down on people who read comic books. Not now, it's very different today. I never had that experience, but let's say in the 80s and the 90s, it was very rare for people to be reading comic books. People would be bullied for reading comic books, and Stan Lee was like, no, be who you are. Don't let other people tell you what to be. You embrace who you are. And, if they don't want to be friends with you because you like comic books, so what? Toss them to the side, find other people, because obviously they're not worth keeping around. One of my favorite quotes from Stan Lee is actually one about the kind of job he had. Because I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but he had this quote, and it's like, he has all these friends that are becoming doctors and building bridges and doing all these important things in their lives, and he viewed his job kind of inferior. He was just a comic book writer. He was just there to entertain people. But then he realized that entertainment is such an important part of people's lives that you kind of keep them from going off the deep end. Entertainment is just as important as being a doctor or building a bridge. And if you do something fun with your life, you never feel like you're working. You actually feel like you're playing. It's those two things that have kind of also inspired me to do what I do. Because I know what I want to major in is not necessarily what people would consider important. But at the same time, I love this. I love what I do. I love doing this show every week. I look forward to doing this every week. And while it's not the most important thing, I have fun doing it. And like Stan Lee says, I do feel like I'm playing. And you know what? My goal in all of this, look, I have opinions. I like to share those opinions, yes. I'm not trying to influence anyone either way how to think. If you're not excited for Toy Story 4, so be it. My intent in this show is to entertain people, to have some fun, to have a conversation amongst movie fans, and to share my opinion. I don't want to sway anyone's opinion. My goal of being here is not to make you think the way that I think. I want to communicate my opinion so maybe you can change your opinion or adapt your opinion because I gave you some more details and gave you another point of view. But I'm also here to entertain people. I want to give some people something fun to listen to, and that's what I hope I achieve in this show. And that's also thanks to Stan Lee. Because like I said, cinema media studies is not necessarily the most important field in the world. But I have fun doing it, and if I can affect other people's lives with what I do by allowing them to be entertained by what I watch, to have some fun interacting with fellow movie fans, then I think that's great. And I think that's also important. We need some fun in this world. We live in a dark place sometimes, and it's fun just to have an escape. Because like I said, movies are not the be-all, end-all in this world, but they do provide an escape. Superheroes provide an escape. And I think it's important to listen to Stan Lee. Do what you want with your life. Don't think that you have to do this some important thing because this is what you have to do. there are so many important things that you can do, and I think that's an important lesson that Stan Lee taught us. Just we don't need to be a doctor, we don't need to be architects to help people. By entertaining people, we provide them with entertainment that they all need in their lives, and it keeps them from going off the deep end, as Stan Lee said. And that's probably my favorite quote from him. I also thought I'd take a minute to talk about some of my favorite Stan Lee cameos for a couple of minutes, one of which I'll talk about 5. And these are in no particular order, but these are some of my favorites. Number 1 is the Amazing Spider-Man, where we see Stan Lee. He's in the library, just like checking out books. He's clearly the school librarian in the movie. And you see Spider-Man and the Lizard fighting behind him, but Stan Lee just has his giant headphones on and he has no idea what's going on. He's completely oblivious to his surroundings, and he has no idea. I thought that was just a really funny one. The second one that I really enjoyed is this is actually the first time that I figured out who Stan Lee was, because I had seen some other Marvel movies at the time, and I'd see like, who's this old guy popping up all the time? I finally figured out who he was. And look, the movie's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it's Fantastic Four 2. Rise of the Silver Surfer, I believe is the subtitle. And it's Reed Richards' wedding. And they're letting in guests, and you just see this random guy pop up. He's like, I'm Stan Lee. I should be on the list. I'm Stan Lee. And obviously he's on the list, and they turn him away. And I was like, I just remember, I grabbed my little netbook. I was like 10 years old at the time, so I had this really small little laptop. And I looked up, who's Stan Lee? I was like, oh, he's the creator of Marvel Comics. So, while the movie isn't great, I think that's a great cameo. It's like, I think it might be the only time that he was actually ever able to play himself on screen, that he was actually Stan Lee. Oh, no, that's not true. Mallrats, he also did. Anyways, so let's move on to the next cameo. And my next favorite is probably Captain America's Civil War. One of my favorite MCU movies, and also probably one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos. And in this one, he plays a Federal Express man. He's delivering a package to Tony Stark, and you just hear knocking on the door. The camera turns, and it's Stan Lee knocking on the door. He's like, says to Tony Stark, "Are you Tony Stank?" I remember the whole theater started laughing. It was a great cameo. Probably one of his funniest, also, in my opinion. My second favorite cameo of his is, I would also have to say, The Avengers is one of my all-time favorites of him. I kind of like it that they almost kind of broke the fourth wall with that one, because the cameos, you see a bunch of news footage, and they're interviewing these 2 older guys, and one of them is clearly Stan Lee. He's like, come on, superheroes in New York, give me a break. I just kind of like that they broke the fourth wall with that, because clearly Stan Lee created all the characters. He purposely put them in New York. It was just I got a kick out of that for the audience. Look, most audience members wouldn't have known that was Stan Lee. Most audience members would have thought, like, oh, yeah, that's kind of a crazy thing. Superheroes in New York, that's crazy. But for people like me, who are comic book fans, who are comic book movie fans, and know who Stan Lee is, I think we all got a really big kick out of that one. And then my last example of a Stan Lee cameo is probably Spider-Man 2. I believe it's Spider-Man 2, when Peter Parker is walking in Times Square and he sees like Spider-Man to receive keys to the city. And Stan Lee pretty much just says, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said. Just a really great line, nice and simple, kind of encompassing what this whole story is about, that one person can make a difference. And you know what? I feel like this can attribute to Stan Lee's life itself. He was one guy, and he made one heck of a difference in a lot of people's lives, including mine. One person can make a humongous difference and a huge impact. Like I said at the beginning of this topic, I firmly believe that without Stan Lee, I would not be here talking with you guys about movies. One of the happiest memories I have of going to the movies is The Avengers. I just remember how amazing that movie was. I got so excited to go see Avengers 2. I started digging into details for that movie, and that just sort of spiraled out of control. And now I ended up here at Gettysburg College, majoring in cinema media, and doing this show every Friday. And I think that is all thanks to Stan Lee. He was one heck of a guy. I really wish I got a chance to meet him. He was one of the few celebrities I actually really wish I got a chance to meet. I never did. Apparently, he was a really nice guy, and he will definitely be missed. Alright guys, that wraps up my show for today. If you liked what you saw and heard, please comment below and let me know. And give your own opinions in the comment section about what you thought about Toy Story 4. What did you think about the trailer? What did you think about the Dumbo trailer? What did Stan Lee mean to you? Did he have any positive effects on your life through your everyday comics. I'm assuming you've seen some of the movies. So comment below, what did you guys think about Stan Lee's passing? Did he have any effect on you? If you're listening to this on WCBT Gettysburg, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the show. I post other videos there throughout the week and a video form of this show. Just go to Ethan Cannistra, Ethan C-A, and then I-S-T-R-A. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, comment, and like. And until next time, goodbye.